Hi, my name is Gary Swanson. I just wanted to share with you a near death experience I had. And I was 45 years old. I was a fireman, and I was waiting in a doctor's office for eye doctor, nothing important. But it was a beautiful midweek, about 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm a full time fireman, and I just gotten off shift that morning. I was well rested, felt good, and I was just sitting waiting in the doctor's office to see him. And it was in Glenbrook Hospital has a medical building, and so it was in the medical building next to the hospital. And a little history is I've had three of my relatives had dropped dead at 50. My cousin Bill was walking in a mall, and 50 just dropped dead. I had an Uncle Harry who was just on a golf course, all great shape, and just dropped dead. No prior history. And then my grandfather Walt, who was really strong, just poured the foundation for a garage out in Antioch, Illinois, and he just dropped dead. So, anyway, my story starts. I'm sitting in the chair in the doctor's office, and everything felt fine, just waiting. And then I noticed I was leaning forward in the chair. So I'm leaning forward, and I'm thinking, well, okay. And then I started really going further over, and I start thinking, wow, this is really unusual. And I said, Gary, put your hand up. I kept remember saying, put your hand up, Gary. Your face is going to hit the concrete floor. And so I'm sitting there. It was kind of perplexing. And right before my face hit the floor, I left my body. So the typical, yes, I was up looking down at my body, and I was very concerned that my face hit the floor. And so anyway, I'm there looking around, and I was very concerned I didn't care at all for about, it was only like 10 seconds I cared about my body, that I cared about my house, my friends, my family. And then after that, it was, you didn't care at all. You realized that it was just nothing. So I guess I turned around, and another typical thing was, yes, I saw a light. I didn't have a body form, but I was moving toward the light. I was going slow. I wasn't walking. I was just moving. I knew I was moving. Saw the light and went up toward it. So I went into the light. And a lot of people say, oh, yes, you went into the light. It was love. It was warm. And it was a good feeling. And that's exactly what it was. But my dilemma is to say how much love is in that room. And so I'm thinking, yeah, I could say, yeah, it was total love in that room, but you don't get it, how much it is. And you could say, oh, it's love to the 10th power, but it doesn't really say. And so I figured out how much love is in the room. And I get it. The amount of love that's in that room is all the love you have ever experienced in your life. From seeing your first bicycle, learning to ride, your love for your parents, the love for your dog, the love for the spring day, the love to see the daffodils come up out of the snow, the love for everything you have ever felt in your life, the love for your first car, the love to catch a fish, the love for is all in that room. And it is so intense. I mean, it's not just going into a room of love. It is so intense. It is the best feeling you will ever feel, ever. So I'm in this room, and I see there's like lights there, people in there. They didn't have a form, but I saw my mom. She was the biggest person in the room, a light, And we never talked, but I knew what she was saying. She said, Gary, everything is going to be okay. And I says, well, okay. I felt a little reassured. I wasn't worried. And then I ended up talking to some other relatives. So I talked to the relatives, and then there was someone there I didn't know. And so I'm over to him. You know what? Nobody talked. Nobody had a form, but you knew who everybody was. And so I go up to this other gentleman, and he said, Gary, he says, do you want to stay here? And so there was that. I was thinking, wow, this is really nice. And it didn't matter. I could have stayed easy. And he said, do you want to stay? And I guess there was just that pause, that second of hesitation, and then boom, I wake up. I'm in the emergency room of Glenbrook Hospital. They flop me onto that emergency room stretcher, and I'm telling you, I went from total no pain, feeling total love, to the worst feeling ever. My face hit the floor, free fall. Yeah, I think I broke my nose. And it was just so much pain in this body, and I couldn't work things. I couldn't lift my hand. I couldn't lift my head off there. I was so weak. And so I stayed on the stretcher. They say, Gary, after an hour or two, they said, I wet my pants. I was incontinent in the thing. He says, since you did that, he says, we have to give you a brain scan. And so, okay, yeah. I had nothing. I couldn't lift I couldn't lift my head up. Okay. And so I went in, had the brain scan. He said, okay, we didn't find anything. So they let me sit in the quiet room. And anyway, they said, Gary, after 2 or 3 hours, you got to go. And so I ended up leaving, but I couldn't walk. Couldn't get my body working. So they said, come on, let's go. They escorted me outside the emergency room. I couldn't go any further. I was just laying on the floor outside the emergency room. And finally, they ended up coming, getting a wheelchair. I left in their scrubs because my clothes were filled with urine. And anyway, it was so disappointing to come back to this body. It was so painful. And so I made it home and, took a couple days off of work. And then I realized, I said, listen, I'm a fireman, full-time, active duty fireman. I said, if I tell anybody that I was sitting in a chair and just fell over, I might lose my job. They don't want someone who's going to do that, driving a fire engine or climbing a ladder or something. So I didn't tell anybody. I just didn't tell anybody. So what happened was I kept it a secret. I probably told a handful of people in my life. But anyway, that was it. I'm getting older, and I figured I might as well tell somebody. And, I hope it helps somebody. But that's it. It was the most wonderful experience I've ever had in my life. I still can't believe it. Everything is going to be okay. And sometimes you hear the fire and brimstone. Oh my gosh, they'll pull you out of a pit of fire. That's all. Doesn't happen. Never. There was nothing bad, no fire, no devil, no brimstone. It was a 100% positive experience. 100. So forget the devil, forget the brimstone. It was all 100% positive. And, well, that's my story. Anyway, it happened a long time ago, but I figured I might as well tell somebody now. So anyway, that's it. I tried to do it all at one time. It seems choppy, but okay.